Why did Sasuke only have one Rinnegan, and not two? The Rinnegan is the toughest ocular power in Naruto, and only true tough guys manage to awaken it. Hagoromo, Madara, Sasuke. But when it was Sasuke's turn, he ended up awakening it in only one eye. Why is that? Was it a mistake? Undoubtedly, the Rinnegan is one of the things that generates the most doubts and mysteries. We know it's purple and overpowered, but besides that, it's all mystery. And one of the big mysteries is related to Sasuke. Why was he the only one not to awaken the Rinnegan in both eyes? Personally, I think it has a direct connection to the fact that he didn't like the video. That's right. He watched all the videos. Okay, cool. But he watched and didn't like, can you believe it? The Rinnegan is ancient stuff. We don't even know when this trend of using purple eye lenses started in the Naruto universe. The origin we knew was Hagoromo's Rinnegan. Kaguya came to Earth, made a mess, and ate the chakra fruit from the Shinju. But the fruit wasn't an apple, of course. It was a chakra fruit that was basically a mass of all the genetic information on the planet. This led her to awaken an eye on her forehead, the Rinnegan. But when she ate the fruit and gained these insane powers, she was already pregnant with twins. There were two little horned ones in her belly. The oldest, Hagoromo, ended up developing a mutation just like his mother. But instead of awakening the Rinnegan like her, he awakened the Rinnegan in both of his eyes. I believe this happened due to genetic reasons. I'm no genetics expert, but he may have inherited the gene to awaken the Rinnegan, but it got mixed with the genes of his father, who, according to the anime, was a human. So the Rinnegan gene got diluted, and hence the Rinnegan came about. But anyway, that's not so important. We don't know if Hagoromo was born with the Rinnegan in his face. In the anime, they made him be born with normal Otsutsuki eyes, which then evolved into the Sharingan and later into the Rinnegan. But to me, that doesn't make much sense, especially the part about the Sharingan. Anyway, for someone else to awaken the Rinnegan like Hagoromo, they would have to bring back Otsutsuki chakra. One way to do this was by combining the chakra of the horned guy's two sons, Indra and Ashura. That's how Madara awakened his. He was already a reincarnation of Indra and got a piece of Hashirama's flesh, who was a reincarnation of Ashura. So he put the two together, blended them, and then he managed to awaken the chakra of the Sage of Six Paths, and consequently, the Rinnegan. But then this origin got a bit confusing. Because, we thought the Rinnegan had come from Hagoromo as a mutation of Kaguya's Rinnegan. But then came Momoshiki, an Otsutsuki who had two Rinnegan in his hands. So the Rinnegan didn't come with Hagoromo. It seems to be something any Otsutsuki can awaken. But anyway, and Sasuke? Sasuke also awakened the Rinnegan, but how that happened is also kind of confusing. Some believe Sasuke awakened the Rinnegan because of the chakra he received from Hashirama. There are others who think Kabuto put Hashirama's cells into Sasuke when he was healing him. But I think these two options don't make much sense. Sure, Sasuke was the reincarnation of Indra, and Hashirama was the old reincarnation of Ashura. But here's the thing. Hashirama is the old reincarnation. He wasn't the current one. This is because Ashura's chakra and spirit had already passed on since Hashirama's death, and they were in who? In the boy Naruto. Naruto was Ashura's reincarnation at that time. Hashirama had been revived and was the old reincarnation. But the transmigration had already moved forward. So, for Sasuke to awaken the Rinnegan like Madara did, he would have to get a piece from Naruto, not from Hashirama, who wasn't even Ashura's reincarnation anymore. That's why I think the answer to how he awakened the Rinnegan was with Hagoromo himself. We saw that Hagoromo had a mental conversation with Sasuke just like he did with Naruto. And in that, the old man passed half of his chakra to Naruto, and the other half went to Sasuke. So, having Hagoromo's chakra, he awakened a Rinnegan. But here's the problem. One Rinnegan. Sasuke ended up awakening the Rinnegan only in his left eye. But why? Was it defective? Buy one, get one free? The truth, folks, is that there is no official answer to this. The work ended, Boruto began, and we still don't have an official answer to this. What I think is this. Kishimoto's favorite character is Sasuke. This part isn't even a theory, it's confirmed. Uncle Kishi has said several times that his favorite is the emo. He wouldn't want to nerf Sasuke. But Peter, where is the Rinnegan nerf? Well, the Rinnegan isn't any nerf, but awakening the Rinnegan in both eyes does bring a little problem. The Sharingan goes away. When you awaken the Rinnegan, your normal eyes become the Rinnegan. It's a mutation, and the Rinnegan becomes your new eyes. There's no on-off button like the Sharingan and the Byakugan. The Rinnegan is always activated. You wake up, and the Rinnegan is there in your face. Imagine that. But Peter, Madara deactivated the Rinnegan in the war. That was a fake Rinnegan awakened by Kabuto. But Sasuke deactivated the Rinnegan in the last. That was a total mistake in the movie. Just like Kishimoto forgot to give the Byakugan to Boruto, he forgot to put the Rinnegan on Sasuke's face in the movie. The biggest proof that the Rinnegan isn't deactivatable is the time travel arc. Remember that? Boruto and Sasuke go back to classic Naruto and stuff. There, Sasuke had to disguise himself, so no one recognized him. So he put on a black cape over another black cape, a little hat, and an eye patch for his left eye. Why would he use an eye patch on the Rinnegan if he could just deactivate it? It doesn't make sense. And with Sasuke awakening the Rinnegan in both eyes, he would lose both of his Sharingan. The Rinnegan isn't an evolution of the Sharingan, folks. He wouldn't keep the Sharingan's power with just one normal Rinnegan. The Rinnegan is a mutation. It's a different eye. Always keep that in mind. So, awakening the Rinnegan in both eyes, he would lose a lot of his techniques. Amaterasu, Kagutsuchi, movement prediction, jutsu copying, and genjutsu. All of that and more would be gone, and Sasuke wouldn't have them anymore. Of course, in return, he would gain several powers with the Rinnegan, but he would lose a lot of important things from the Sharingan. Sasuke based his entire fighting style on the Sharingan, on fighting using the Sharingan's mechanics, and Kishimoto always wrote him that way. It would be very problematic for both Sasuke and Kishimoto to develop a completely different fighting style out of nowhere. The Rinnegan doesn't have the same powers as the Sharingan, so it would be very different. Kishimoto wouldn't have the courage to do that. A good proof of what I'm saying is the fact that Sasuke didn't awaken a normal Rinnegan. He awakened a Rinnegan with Tomoe, a supreme Rinnegan. There's also no explanation for him awakening that fancy Rinnegan there. It could be a genetic thing too, I don't know. But one fact is, if Sasuke had awakened the normal Rinnegan in his left eye, he would lose the Amaterasu. Because he launched the Amaterasu with his left eye and controlled the shape of the flames with the Kagutsuchi in his right eye. Can you imagine Sasuke losing the Amaterasu, which is one of his signature techniques? That's why this Supreme Rinnegan thing came in handy. It's basically a fusion between the Rinnegan and Sasuke's left Sharingan. In other words, it's like I said, Kishimoto didn't want to give up Sasuke's Sharingan techniques and found a way to keep them there. So, why didn't he awaken the Supreme Rinnegan in both eyes? That's when I think it's a matter of aesthetics. Maybe the Rinnegan in both eyes wouldn't look as stylish as one Rinnegan in one eye and one Sharingan in the other. Kishimoto has already said that he cares a lot about Sasuke's design, so I wouldn't be surprised. And let's be serious. He really looks very stylish with that purple glow in one eye and red in the other. But remember, folks, there's no official answer to this. It's just a theory. Send what you think down below. And contrary to what many people think, no, Sasuke wouldn't be stronger with two Rinnegan. I mean, he could be, but he doesn't suffer any nerf just for having one. Well, in Boruto's case, he doesn't have a Rinnegan or a Supreme Rinnegan anymore. He just, has a crater in place of his eye.